Peter?
I got one question. I'd like to know what your thoughts are about the swimming pool. That seems to be an ongoing thing. I'd like to have each one of you answer what your thoughts are about the proposed swimming pool concept, or what you're going to do with the old swimming pool.
We just
Kathy, I'll start with you.
You want to start with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I would love a new swimming pool if everybody else wants a new swimming pool. I'd like to do what the community would like to do. And a new swimming pool, the cost of one is just, would be an awful lot. I worry about how we'd come up with that money and everything else. You don't want to burden people with more taxes and everything else. So it's kind of like, to me, it's just totally up in the air. It's what the community wants, what I want, so. To you, yeah.
About a year ago now, maybe a little bit more than a year ago, we did a public survey to find out what the community's feelings were on the swimming pool, on a proposed new swimming pool. And basically what we found out was that everybody wants one and nobody wants to pay for it.
Yeah, that's right.
We've done some groundwork and some initial kind of investigative work with an architectural firm that does community swimming pools, and we have found that we're looking at well, upwards of $4 to $5 million to put a new swimming pool in. We've got to find that money somewhere. Our current swimming pool has served for many years, and it's been very useful, and it's dying. And we're in a position where in the not too distant future, we're going to have to make a decision as to if we want a swimming pool, we're going to have to build a new one and pony up for a minimum of $4 to $5 million. The swimming pool is, to me, a community swimming pool is something that a community of our size that is trying to be a destination place is something we cannot live without. As far as I'm concerned, a swimming pool for this community is part of the infrastructure. It's no different than roads or sewer or water or public safety. Saying that, what I mean by saying that is the swimming pool, our current swimming pool, loses roughly $250,000 a year. After we pay salaries and take in what we take in for people to swim there, it costs the city roughly $250,000 a year out of our budget. It's not a money-making proposition. Swimming pools aren't. They just are not. For me, however, again, as a quality of life issue, as something we provide as a city, again, I don't consider the swimming pool to be any different than a library or a bike path or the other services that we offer. I think it's something we have to have. However, and most likely when we get to the point where we're ready to move on a new swimming pool, it's going to come up on the ballot, most likely as some sort of a tax initiative, some sort of a bond. And if the citizenry votes against that, then I don't know what we'll do. But that's.
My feeling as far as the swimming pool is concerned is that I've got all of my family is here, my kids are living here, and I've got 8 grandchildren, and I think there's nothing better than for us to have a swimming pool for all of the kids and for the schools and so on and so forth. As Dr. Barnett mentioned, it's important and it's critical for our infrastructure. We are somewhat of a hub city for central Utah, and there's certain things that we have to have, such as golf courses, swimming pools, and so on and so forth. Those kind of things, as a hub city, we're responsible to have to take care of and do. I think that a swimming pool, I remember when they remodeled the swimming pool where it was at, because we had just barely started in the sanitation business, and we had the contract to do the garbage with that, and so I remember when it was remodeled. I guess I'm talking more about my age and how long we've been here, but I remember the remodeling of it, and then as they were talking about how it's wore out, I was thinking, well, it wasn't that long ago, but I guess it actually was. So it is critical, and it's important that we have a swimming pool, but as many of you have heard me say, you know, it's nice to be able to, we would all like to have a steak and lobster dinner, but if we only have a hamburger budget, we have to watch what we order. And the truth of the matter is that, you know, in a city the size of Richfield, we've got so much tax dollars and so much to go around, and we have to make sure that we spend within our means and not get ourselves caught up in overspending and getting into a maintenance problem to where we're going to get the city into too much trouble financially. So it's going to take some creative financing, if that's the word that you want to use or whatever. The swimming pool is a necessity item, but it's something that we need to make sure that we do it wisely when we do it, and take care of it in a manner that's affordable for the city.
Like the rest of them, I do support the pool. A city like Richfield, it's great to have a pool. But like he said, I like to use the comparison of a car. Can we afford a Ferrari? There's a plan being tallied about to get Snow College involved and them donate land there just south of the ball fields and build upwards of a $10, $20 million facility. The problem with that is, think of the event center. It was a joint venture between the college, the county, the city, the school district. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. Richfield City on the event center gets certain amount of free performances there every year. If you do that with the swimming pool, same thing's going to happen. College will get some time, school district will get time, city will get time, county will get time, and it cuts down on the time that your average citizen can use it. Yes, we do need something. If you look at the Community Impact Board, I like to call it the wish list. Right now they've got an aquatic center for $10 million on there with $5 million from the CIB, $5 million matching from Richfield City. That could be pared down just a little bit. Also on a bigger facility, like Dr. Barnett mentioned, already subsidizing the pool to a tune of $250,000. If you build a bigger facility, the operations and maintenance goes up as well. We need something that's sized for Richfield, something that Richfield can afford.
Just a question, whoever might have an answer. My kids, I've got 4 married kids that live in Richfield. They load my grandkids in the car and they go to Manti, to the pool to swim for birthday parties, different things. They go to Salina. But going back to Manti, how are they funding this? I've never been there. I know as a kid, when I was a kid growing up here over 50 years ago, we used to go to Ephraim to the pool. They had a high dive and had all this thing, but as church groups would go to Ephraim to the pool. But how's Manti funding this, or how big is it? Does anybody know?
I can probably handle that. I'm not sure how Manti funded their pool. I know it loses money as well. It's open from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and our pool's open 365. It's open year-round, every day of the year. Well, I'm sure it's closed on New Year's Day and Christmas.
So Manti is an outdoor pool?
Manti is an outdoor pool that's
okay.
open only in the summer. And it does have, it's 4 or 5 years old. About 4 or 5 years old. It has some water features with it. There's a water slide, some other things with Manti's pool. But again, and this is hearsay, but in talking with a couple of my friends, one of my friends here in town told me that he had spoken with their city manager and that their pool loses money as well. Like I said, yeah, I understand that families are going up there. There's some features there that our pool doesn't have, but there's some trade-offs there as well.
I was at our pool yesterday morning. We bought a year pass for probably 15 years or more, and we had to be out at 9 o'clock because the school was coming in. And as we were driving home, here's all these kids walking up from Pavon to use the pool. So.
And that's the thing I was mentioning with getting more people involved with a bigger facility there by Snow College. The more people putting into the pie, the more people are going to be taking little chunks out of it that you won't be able to go.
You know, the mayor's been working on this a little bit, and he really would love to do it with the whole entire county. And sometimes I think that that's kind of a good idea, a little bit, to do the county instead of Richfield City paying for everything. And then people say, no, it's so much cheaper living out in the county because we don't pay for all this stuff. And then you figure Richfield City's paying, totally for like the swimming pool, the golf course, and everything else, and yet everybody in the county is using it for the same price. So I know he's been seeing if he can't work something with Snow College and the county and different entities, the school district and everything else, to see if there isn't some way everybody can help with it together. But like Tudor said, we don't have any money, and really Richfield City doesn't have any money either. So it's just kind of like, I guess we'll just keep working on the problem and hoping we can come up with some solution that.
You think the time will come when they'll lock the doors on the pool and say we just can't afford to keep this operating?
I hope not.
Yeah,
Well, I hope not, too.
Salina's getting close to that point. They had to really dig and dig and dig to find a way to keep their pool open this summer because there was problems with the pool.
And again, Salina's a Memorial Day to Labor Day situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, this used to be too.
It was better when it was that too.
Let's just go up to Jeff's hall.
Yeah, it was nice to go up there and all the kids laying out on the deck and
Yeah.
all the stuff that was going on. There's just not as many people that use it now as
No,
there was when we
there's
were
just something
kids.
nice about a pool.
Well,
It's
and one
not
of
closing in
the,
in
one of
the
the
summer.
problems, oh, it's not a problem, but one of the issues, Matt, and I'm glad you brought that up, one of the issues with the pool that we struggle with as a city is that we have 3 or 4 or 5 distinct user groups that demand time in the pool. And we have a high school swim team that needs time to practice. We have folks that are there for rehab that want time. We have swimming lessons. We have folks that want open swim. We have older folks, mostly older folks, that come in the morning to swim laps and do calisthenics and whatever. And to try and dovetail and get all those different groups satisfied and to meet everybody's needs with one pool is I'm glad I'm not having to try and do it. It's a nightmare of a jigsaw puzzle at times, and consequently, sometimes it's hard to know when you can go and when you can't go, and what the schedule is, and when it's open and when it's not. And that's strictly a function of all of the different groups that are needing time there that we're trying to accommodate to get as much use out of it as we can.
And then also adding on that thing that Richard too, you have the older people that come in the morning that want to do their aerobics and everything else, and they want the water really hot. And then we have that swim team and that come in the afternoon that wants the water really cold, and it's.
Yeah, somewhere they have to compromise
Yeah,
between
I
the two
know.
and hit it.
Yes.
But it's irritating if you go swimming on a day and you go there at 3 o'clock and it's closed.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point? At 3 o'clock you should be open. So, and that happens a lot.
Good
It's
question.
definitely a problem
We
that
quit
needs to
going.
be solved.
Good question.
Appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah. Yeah, you go 3 o'clock at Friday and it's not even open.